Alright, thanks Abernathy for the weather. For those who are just tuning into CIA, we here are going to be discussing a topic many may not even know about, that is 2,767 miles from here. What is that, you may ask? Well, imagine mass political revolts and protests spanning an entire country caused by an economic crisis and a controversial political move made by the leader of that said country. And, well, that's exactly the situation in Venezuela. As you can see, there are clashes between the supporters of President Maduro and the protesters who are also rioting, which the rioters also protesting too. Why are there protesters and rioters? Why are there clashes going on between protest rioters and supporters of Maduro? What exactly did Maduro in the first place cause all of this mayhem? Well, we here at CIA will be covering that tonight. But first, let us start off with what exactly is going on. In Venezuela, there are protests going on between supporters of Maduro and protesters, with the protesters coming by the thousands in massive droves to every single protest, demanding that Maduro enact elections as so that they can easily vote him off, which 69% of Venezuelans have actually said in a survey that they will want to actually vote off Maduro. Even former politicians are even at the front lines of this protest, some being bloodied up and beaten by the police that they once served. However, Maduro has claimed that he was planning to arm 500,000, yes, read it, 500,000 of his supporters with guns supplied by the Venezuelan army. On both sides, there are attacks going on, like supporters bombing, trying to throw Molotovs at the police and any riot vehicles brought in by the police, and supporters of Maduro doing drive-bys during protests. As you can see here, here's some footage of the protests. Next up, why is all this happening exactly? But first, let us go to a commercial. We'll be right back.
รู้กินเหล้า
เลิกเหล้า
ทำงานทำงานทำงานเก็บเงินทำงานเก็บเงินใช้หนี้ทำงานเก็บเงินได้เรียนมีกินช่วยเหลือผ่องใสเมียรักอบอุ่นไม่ป่วยรวยปัญญาพัฒนาฉลาดชาติเจริญไปถึงไหนนะก็ไม่รู้แค่เลิกเหล้า
I like my coffee decaf, you know. I know jam on this. Oh, we're on here. Oh, shoot. Hello and welcome back to CIA. For those who are just tuning in, we are in the middle of covering the Venezuelan protests. For those who missed the first portion of this report, you can find it on our website, which a link will pop up right here. Anyways, on to the why portion of this report. Now then, you may be asking, why are people protesting President Maduro and demanding that he step down? Well, back in 2014, President Maduro had signed into effect a change that would strip the power of multiple portions of the Venezuelan government, excluding only one, which was primarily controlled by his own party. Of course, politicians in the government and civilians alike had, taken offense to that decision and started protesting them. Because seeing as that decision was reminiscent of that of former Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez, who had already attempted restructuring the government as such beforehand. And so the protests began, even when President Maduro had quickly changed his decision. Why? The people were already looking for a reason to start protesting, as the president wanted to enact some changes that would have limited the economy even further, while they were going through depression, as Venezuela had deeply invested into the oil market, in which almost all the revenue and GDP had come from, except for the fact that oil prices had lowered in recent years, causing a major decline in their economy. And on top of that, they all feared that President Maduro was attempting to turn the socialist Venezuelan government into a dictatorship with him at the helm. The people already demanding elections, and the president did so recently. However, it was for a newly formed part of the government created specifically by him, which elections would be held outside of the country only by voters who were not protesting him, and the only candidates were 500 of his own supporters. Before we reach a conclusion of this report, here's a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Is it true that you can leap over a chair from a standing position?
It depends on the size of the chair. I'll cheat a little bit.
Yes!
What is that? Oh, shoot. Alright, sorry. Hello and welcome back to CIA, folks. If you are just tuning in, we are in the middle of covering the Venezuela protests. To learn what that is, if you've missed it, or previous parts of the report, and why is it going on, you can find that report at this link right here. Anyhow, now it's the conclusion of this report, including what you can do about it. And there's quite a lot of evidence that President Maduro was actually becoming said dictator, as the protesters are claiming, and also including these clips of him dancing in his own private radio show and party, all visited by his own supporters. Well, you may be asking yourself, how can I change anything about these protests? Well, there is a way, dear viewer, by simply donating to protesters, as one of the reasons why they are doing so in the first place is because the Venezuelan economy is in shambles, and thus bare necessities are, well, scarce. They can barely even feed themselves, and are eating out the trash. You can also spread the news on social media, as if the protests gain attention from the media attraction, more and more pressure would be put on Maduro, as potentially outside government officials will take notice of protests. But why I say outside? Well, President Maduro is even claiming that the United States are actually behind all of these protests and are attempting to perform a coup. Anyways, that is all for tonight. Have a safe night, everyone, and good luck on your finals. This is CIA signing out, and I'm about to begin.